Mick, well done on the win. What did you make of that whole experience? You know, we were talking about in the build-up, the feeling of walking out, UFC debut in London, packed out crowd, your friend Tom on the main event bill. What do you make of the whole experience?
Oh, it was amazing. I didn't feel overwhelmed. It felt like I belonged there, if that makes sense. But walking out was amazing. Everybody cheering for us. Like, look, I took it all in. Everybody this week's told us, like, take it in and enjoy it. It's easy to let it pass you by, and it just become like a memory. But I felt like I took it in, I enjoyed it. It felt good. Like Bruce Buffer calling me in, I just enjoyed every moment. I haven't watched the fight back yet, so I'll have to watch it back before I talk about that too much. But I feel like I definitely could have done a little better. Yeah,
like you mentioned, you look really comfortable in there, and there was never a moment that you looked in trouble. And you know, towards the end of the third round, you were exchanging, like, going toe-to-toe towards the end of it. Did you feel like you'd have embraced that a bit more early in the fight, or did you just want to warm up in there, get your confidence up, and just breeze through it? Because that's what it looked like. You were just breezing through it in there.
It's heavyweight MMA, so I don't take too many big shots early. I feel like I'm a lot fitter than most heavyweights, so I'm getting out the first round is probably key to me winning a lot of times. I felt he did slow down, but I didn't do enough to finish him, really. I think my coach was saying they were tight, so I knew it was tight going to third. He was like, just think, I'm not too sure, just think you might be 1-2 down, it's really tight. And then I heard like 90 seconds left, and then like the last 30, I thought, make a little statement. I felt like, I didn't feel like any of these shots hurt. He was obviously big, and like a few tickled, but they weren't nice, but none hurt us. I felt good. I thought he'd try and wrestle more, potentially kick more. I feel like I would have finished him with the leg kicks, but obviously he switched on to switch stance. I think I hurt his front leg as well. I think I took a lot away of his movement. I heard his coach shouting for like a blast double. I knew he had a good blast double, but I knew he was a fast guy, but to be honest, I felt faster than him in there. I felt like good. I did.
We spoke about this before the fight as well. You know, the rise that Tom's had, you'll be looking for a similar rise, and you'll be wanting to bring the UFC back to the Northeast, because we mentioned 2008, 2009, that was the last time they had an event over there. Is that well within your plans now within the next 2 to 3 years?
Oh, that would be amazing for it to come to the Northeast. A few other guys from our gym and a few of the Northeast are getting on the Contender Series now. They're pushing to look for the UFC. So I feel like next year or two, there'll be loads more guys from the Northeast in the UFC. My gym, a few guys are like pushing on for it themselves. So give it a couple of years, there might be a few Northeast stars, and then potentially it could come up there. But as long as it's in the UK, that's the main thing. Just get some UK cards so I can fight in front of this again.
And I was speaking to Phil DeFries as well. You know, you guys, you, Phil and Tom, have had an amazing camp together. 2 out of 3 so far. And with Tom looking to do the business later on tonight as well. Do you feel like that is the best heavyweight MMA gym in the world that you guys have got together right now?
I think it is. I haven't been too far many gyms. I've only been a couple, but Phil's travelled the world now, sparring everywhere. And he says, like, to get 2 good heavyweights is crazy. Never mind 3 or the 6. So it's amazing. I'm just training up home with Phil, my coach Fisher. Just keep getting better. I can dip in there and spar with the guys and use the bodies there. And I feel like we're always bringing each other on. And I felt, off sparring with Tom, I was used to the speed of what Jamal would bring. It wasn't as fast as Tom. And I'd do okay with Tom. Like, I'm used to that speed, so it didn't like scare us off early. And then I think wrestling with Phil, no one near as strong as him. He's crazy strong. So when they grip all of us, I'm like, oh, they're going to be like Phil, and they just never are. And Phil can't even keep us down. So I feel like no one in the UFC can.
And final one, is there a name in particular that you're eyeing up for your next fight, or is it just anyone the UFC gives you, you'll sign on the dotted line and continue to stack the wins up?
Just let the UFC matches. I feel calling people out this early is just not right. I think top 15, that's when you start calling guys out and that, looking in advance. I'm here, just fight anybody really at this. They're all going to be similar, 1-2 fights in the UFC, Contender Series. They'll all be fair matchups. I think I'm just ready for anybody.
Well done on the win, mate.
Thank you.
Hey Mick, go just over here. It seemed like yourself and Jamal were chatting to each other in the cage. What were you saying to him?
Oh, I enjoyed the chatting. I've never done that before. He was just, I could hear him talking to his coach. He was like, yes, sir, and listening to them. And then a few times I was kicking him and hurting him, and he was like, all right. And then he checked one half, and he was like, my coach was shouting, it's hurting him. And he went, I checked that. I was talking to him, and I hit him with a big right hand. I think I said something like, didn't like that, did you? then kicked him. I knew his leg was like compromised, but he switched stances quite well and like hit it. I felt like if he'd stopped orthodox, I'd have finished him. So I'm happy.
Your friend Jake Smith sent me a Facebook post from a pub called The Terrace, who named a burger after you tonight. How do you react to that?
The support's been crazy from Sunderland. You know, it's only a small place, and like I forget how many people, like how cool this is for people. I'm just here fighting, you know. I've just wanted to do it, but people absolutely love it. So in all the places I used to work, they put the fight on, they did loads of like meal deals for it, and they made like a giant burger that I'll have to try next week when I get home. But it looked good.
Am I right in saying that you worked there as a doorman?
Yeah, I worked as a doorman for a little while before I've packed it in, but it was a great bar, and yeah, a few bars from Sunderland all were sharing it, saying from 5 o'clock onwards with the UFC, Sunderland zone. I feel like I've got crazy support, you know. I sometimes forget like how many people actually want us to do well. It was crazy. Like I haven't even looked at my phone yet, but it'll be going mental. I have to try and reply to everybody if I can.
Last one from me. Obviously, it's the first time you've seen past a second round in your career, and also obviously the first time going to a decision. Going from a UK regional show to the UFC, was there any nerves there, or like how do you reflect on the fact that you went to a decision? Was there any disappointment that you didn't get to finish?
I didn't feel that nervous. I know it's crazy, like this big show, but it felt good. Even in the cage, it felt like, obviously I wouldn't say like sparring, but I felt a lot relaxed. While some fights, you don't know what's going on, you just think, like you're just reacting. But I felt in there, I was picking me shots, I was thinking about what I was doing. I definitely think, I haven't watched it back yet, but I definitely think there might have been a finish there. I hit him with a big shot, then I would maybe look for the second shot, then he would counter. When I countered, I felt like I could have finished him, but then he stopped leading. I just need to work on a few things when they do cover up, because I'm beating them striking. They're going to probably look at the wrestlers, and I need to draw out their counters. So there's a few things to work on, but I'll watch it back. But I'm actually happy to do 3 rounds as well, because I'm always in my head. People are thinking, like, oh, what happens if I'm knackered in the 3rd round? What happens if I'm so tired? But I felt good in there, you know. I definitely could have pushed it a little harder to get the 3 rounds out. I feel like I am fit than most heavyweights. I just need to remember that. Thank you.
I just don't know me. A few days ago, I was in Canary Wharf and I got to witness Phil de Vries catching a live pigeon with his hands. How important is that fight week camaraderie for you to be able to kind of just chill out and not take things too not seriously, but to be able to unwind a bit?
It's amazing. Having Phil round, he's hilarious. He just does crazy stuff like that all the time. He could have his own show and you would follow him about, and honestly, me and my coach love winding him up. He does not take a joke well either, but he's a great guy, you know, and like, look at his reactions to catch a pigeon.
He moved like a lightweight to catch that pigeon.
We're pushing for him his next fight to release doves before he fights.
Yeah, that's class. Fair play. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
Congratulations, Mick, tonight. A fantastic performance. Your debut as well. Did your training camp differ, knowing that you're in this big occasion at the London O2?
I wouldn't say it differ too much. I always train pretty hard. The only thing that happens different is I spar a little harder. I'm always there twice a day, every day, trying to get a little better. I've got Big Phil, who we mentioned, the pigeon catcher. He like trains at my gym all the time, so I've got Phil like 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Then in sparring, we'll go and help Tom, or if he's got a fight, we'll go help him. Just as loads of heavy guys, they're not big guys. We've got a couple of our players, maybe 4, but it's good to have like a few, so we can just dip in and out. I feel like we're helping each other get better. My coach up here has got a few different things that I try and help them out with, them show me a few nice things. I feel like as long as I keep getting better, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you say that, you know, you're on your own in the cage, but you keep saying we and your team and your fans, you're constantly talking about other people. And Tom, how much of an inspiration is Tom and the fans around you spurring you on in that cage?
Oh, Tom's amazing, you know. He's just, well, he doesn't know how good he is, but like to spar with him, to get rounds in and like start doing a little bit better with him every time, like as opposed to going on the first time and just like, wow, he's so fast, and then like clicking onto it, like getting my own stuff off and then doing a little better every now and then. It's been amazing, but the fans was crazy, that was amazing, but I keep going back to Phil, but my coach Andrew Fisher as well. Without them two, I wouldn't be here.
Love that. And also, last one for me, your composure is like second to none, because even now you seem so composed and relaxed. What's your advice on us to keep this composed?
Oh, I don't know if a few things helped. My coach kept saying, you get into fighting because you enjoy it, and people start struggling when they put the pressure on themselves. I've always thought like, oh, you're half all right at this, just say how far you can take it. So I just take it one fight at a time. Like, nobody knows how good I am, so I'll just keep pushing on. If I keep getting better, I feel like I can go all the way. And just a few years back, maybe I had like a belief, would never think like, oh, you could fight in the UFC. And like, if you saw us when I was 14, 15, like I was not athletic one bit, didn't even like sports. To come here would be crazy to tell us, and now I'm like beating people in the UFC and like training with people who's in the top 5 in the UFC. It's surreal.
I love that. I love that sport has changed your life, and now you deserve that burger next week. So
Thank
enjoy
you.
that.
Thank you.